This past legislative session, our state lawmakers found themselves dealing with accusations of sexual harassment. Now, this summer, while the legislature is on break, a committee is meeting to develop new HR policies for legislators, something that hasn't existed until now. With one meeting down, more to go, I sat down with House Speaker Crisanta Duran to talk about how it's going. All right, Speaker Duran, thank you so much for joining us again today. So lawmakers wrapped up this session in May, but sex harassment was a big topic. All over the Capitol throughout the entire session. And I think first and foremost, how is it that this went on for so long, that there were issues that came up that were finally addressed?
Well, we commissioned a outside law firm to come in and do a study of the workplace culture at the Capitol. And what we found through the survey and the work that they did, that there have been people who have seen or experienced harassment, but never brought it forward to be able to ask for help. And as we're looking to reform the culture at the Capitol and take the issue of harassment head on, it is crucial that we have a procedure in place that takes out the perception that politics could ever get in the way of a just outcome. And so we have a group of legislators, Republican and Democrat, that are looking at this issue now to make recommendations about how we change our policy and the process into the future.
So what came first, the complaints or this study?
Well, the study actually came forward in response to some of the complaints that started to happen. In November, we started to see different issues arise in the media, and I really think it was a Me Too moment where people felt most comfortable about coming forward to try and address the issue of harassment head on. And so at that time, the executive committee, who is members of leadership from both chambers, Republicans and Democrats, we decided to take action to address the harassment issue. One of those things that we did was hire an HR person. It's amazing that in the Capitol we have over 300 people who are there on a daily basis during session, and there's never been a human resources administrator to help with issues if they came about. We also hire the Investigations Law Group, which is an organization that has done a survey and has also made a variety of different recommendations about what we need to do moving forward. We thought it was important to get a third independent neutral party to look at some of the issues that we are struggling from, to make recommendations about how we move forward.
So I guess as a voter, I would say that, you know, we elect these officials to represent us, and we assume that they are adults. So how is it that this kind of behavior has gone on, or at least been tolerated up to this point?
Well, you know, in the legislature, it's a unique workplace because legislators are hired and fired by their constituents. As a Speaker of the House, I cannot fire another legislator. This last legislative session, I did ask a member of my own party and my caucus to resign because of ongoing issues with sexual harassment. He chose not to resign, and instead there was an outside independent expert that came in to do an investigation as it related to a variety of accusations that came forward. At the end of that process, it was found more likely than not that there was a series of incidents that were absolutely unacceptable. And at the end of that, there was a resolution to expel him from the legislature. It took a 2/3 vote. Republicans and Democrats voted to expel him. And I think moving forward, we have to take on the issue of harassment head on and make sure that there is no perception that politics can get in the way of a just outcome. And we have to build a better culture at the Capitol for women to be able to be evaluated based on their hard work, qualifications, merit, and skill. And nobody should have to feel like they have to endure inappropriate behavior to be able to do their job.
So as you go forward, will there be protections for those who do the accusing and then those who say are falsely accused?
Well, I think we absolutely need to make sure that there is a fair process in place. My background before coming to the legislature is serving as a labor lawyer, and we need to absolutely evaluate credibility and motivations in the fact-finding process. But we also need a process that does not re-victimize victims. And with the situation that came up at the Capitol where a legislator was ultimately expelled, in that particular instance, he absolutely retaliated against some of the women who had come forward and brought allegations against him. And I think that that was evaluated in the final decision to expel him from the legislature. But we also need to make sure that there are safeguards in place to ensure that there is not disparate treatment, and that there is even-handed accountability across the board when these types of issues come up.
So that's why this group is meeting. It's 6 people, 5 more meetings. We'll see what happens at the end. We'll talk again.
Yes, we have lots more work to do, and we are taking on the issue very, very seriously, and we're going to address it head on.
Speaker Duran, thank you.
Thank you.